Revenge films.
My name is Anna. I work at a real estate agency, but I'm planning to quit my job because I'm getting married soon. It was just a week ago when Hyde, my boyfriend, proposed to me. On my birthday, after 2 years of dating, he took me to a fancy restaurant and gave me a bouquet and a ring. He then asked me to marry him, and I was so happy I cried. He hoped that I would be a housewife after marriage, so I decided to quit my job. I was close with the other employees at work, and because I felt so comfortable working there, I thought it was a pity to quit. But he was the type to easily get jealous, and he was worried that I might cheat on him. So he wanted me to quit my job as soon as possible. I loved him a lot too, and it wasn't like I didn't want to be a housewife. So I followed what he said and told my boss about quitting my job. The other employees were all happy about my marriage, and they said they wanted to hold a big farewell party for me. At the same time, my husband also informed his company about his marriage, and he texted me that he'll be participating in a drinking party held to celebrate his marriage. I told him not to drink too much, just in case, and let him go. That night, when I was about to go to bed, he called me on the phone. He sounded very drunk, and he asked if he can come visit me now. I did say yes, but I didn't feel like looking after a drunk person late in the night. When he arrived at my apartment, he looked more drunk than I thought. And then he started giving me a speech about his views on marriage, although I was obviously half asleep. He told me that he wanted me to be a housewife after marriage, but he continued to say,
"Being a housewife is so easy. What a great position, huh? You better thank me because I'm gonna pay for the living expenses."
He mouthed something I would never imagine for him to say, considering his usual warm personality. I urged him to go to bed and get some sleep today because he was clearly drunk. But he didn't listen to me, saying that there were more things he wanted to tell me about. While I listened to him, rubbing my sleepy eyes, he said something so unexpected that I couldn't believe my ears.
"Don't you dare try to bind me to yourself when you're only a housewife."
When I saw him glare at me while he said that, I couldn't help but feel irritated. Although he might be drunk, there are things he shouldn't say. But because those words were from a drunk person, I thought I shouldn't take it too seriously and held my anger in. Then he continued.
"Even if I fell in love with another girl, don't you dare ask for compensation."
That's crazy. We're a married couple, but you expect me to allow you to have an affair? When I talked back, he spat at me in an arrogant attitude. Yeah, that's right. You should shut up and allow me. That really set me off, so I asked him, then what if I cheated on you?
"In that case, I'll ask you to pay millions for compensation. But if I fell in love with another girl, I'll have an affair with her. Just agree, I'm paying for your living expenses."
He said that as if it was normal. At that moment, my opinions for him changed dramatically. What I've been seeing up until now was just the surface of his personality which he had created. And I found out that he was actually a person who had misogynistic and selfish ideas. Now that I found out his real personality, I knew I wouldn't be happy even if I married him. So I secretly started to record our conversation on my phone, and I'm having difficulty understanding. Can you explain again from the top? When I said that, he replied,
"You're gonna be a housewife, so you better forgive me if I cheated on you. But if you're gonna have me pay for your living expenses, you better not cheat on me."
He explained in detail so that it's easy to understand. I recorded all of that and decided to keep it somewhere safe. The next day, he was back to being his warm personality. When I asked him, "Do you remember what happened yesterday?"
"I don't remember anything. I was really drunk."
He said so, but he somehow looked awkward. I guessed that he remembered, but was pretending like he forgot, blaming the alcohol. He was trying to pretend like nothing had happened, but there was no way I will forget what he just said. And I just don't want to marry a person who would expect me to allow him to cheat on me. But we were all set to get married, and we had already informed our parents as well. I thought they would think I was being selfish if I wanted to break off our engagement, no matter the reason, so I decided to take advantage of the recording. A week later, we were having a meal at a restaurant with both of our parents so that they can get to know each other. So the 6 of us, including my parents and his parents, got together. As expected, he always maintained the warm side of him in front of the parents. I wanted to talk about breaking off our marriage before it gets too late, so I went straight to the point saying, "I have something to tell you," leaving my boyfriend confused. I'll pretend like none of this happened and break up with him. When I said that, both of our parents got mad at me, just like I expected.
What are you saying?
Explain why you want to do that.
There's no one better than him.
They started blaming me, so I played the recording in my phone.
Even if I fell in love with another girl, don't you dare ask for compensation. You're gonna be a housewife, so you better forgive me if I cheated on you. But if you're gonna have me pay for your living expenses, you better not cheat on me.
After they heard what he said, they all went silent out of shock. My dad glared at me and said, "What does that mean?" Then he started panicking and his real personality started showing.
Well, what is this? How come you held a grudge on something I said while I was drunk?
When my mom saw him get mad at me, she told him, "You must be a bad drunk if you say something so mean when you're drunk. I cannot trust my daughter with someone like that." His parents were panicking and they started protecting their son.
That was an accident, right?
"You're not usually like this, right?" I clearly told them I cannot marry someone who tells me that he'll cheat in the future before our marriage. And I returned the ring to him right there. He got even more furious and said,
You think it's a joke? I told you I'll pay for your living expenses, but who do you think you are for breaking off the engagement?
He spat those mean words to me, and he showcased the side of him that was far from his warm personality in front of his parents. Seeing him act like that, I felt relieved that I got to find out about his real personality before we got married. After that, his parents scolded him so much, and he vowed to me to apologize to me and my parents. But of course, my parents wouldn't let him go so easily.
I will never allow my daughter to marry someone so arrogant. We're breaking off their engagement.
My dad pushed him away like that. Before we went home, I told him, "Let's break up, don't contact me again," and left him there. Since then, he would text me every day, apologizing and asking me if we can start over. But when I always refused him, he would often get mad, although he was acting apologetic, so I decided to block his contacts. He once waited for me in front of my mansion, but when I told him that I would call the police, he never dared to show himself ever again. After we broke off our engagement and I went back to working at my company, the other employees all cheered me up. They would say, "You'll meet the one soon enough." And thanks to my colleagues who arranged drinking parties for me, I got a new boyfriend half a year after I broke off my engagement. I was developing trust issues after the incident, but thanks to his support, we were able to trust each other, and we got married after we dated for 2 years. We had 2 children after that, and now we live happily as a family of 4. The reason I'm having a happy life now is because I decided to break up with Hyde and not to get married with him. So I can confidently say that I made the right decision back then. By the way, Hyde, on the other hand, was abandoned by his parents after we broke off our engagement, and I heard he lives a lonely, single life now. According to a rumor, he's been telling the people around him that he still hasn't gotten over me. So, although I never plan to get involved with him again, if I have the chance to, I would like to tell him that I'm already married and living a happy life.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.